9 students have been arrested following the chain of incidents of unrest. The Education Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed maintains that the government will not be responsible for the reconstruction of destroyed school buildings. KTN News reporter Caroline B. leads our coverage tonight.
The dark moment of the country's school calendar lacks an answer, with every high-ranking education stakeholder giving a solution favoring their side. According to the Kenya National Union of Teachers (NAT), 33 schools have been shut down since May. Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed blames it on the exams, which is causing jitters among the students, but NAT faults the unpopular teachers' transfer.
Those that are apprehended will be taken to court and they will be prosecuted.
Don't tell me Maranda High School boys fear exams. They don't fear exams. They don't fear exams. A principal who was doing well was transferred.
Appearing before the Education Parliamentary Committee, Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang said the solution to the unrest is setting up more day secondary schools to give students enough time with their parents. He says the care burden has heavily been placed on teachers.
Corporal punishment, it may not necessarily be the way to go. I think there are alternatives and better ways of engaging our children.
139 students have been arrested over school disturbances. At least 4,000 students are out of school. Nyanza has reported the highest cases of strife. Since 1st July, 26 schools have been closed in the region. Kisumu Regional Police Commander Leonard Katana says 13 schools have reported arson cases as 797 students lose their property to fire. No one knows who will be responsible for the reconstruction of destroyed buildings.
For government will not reconstruct burnt. Well, I'm sorry, but somebody will have to pay.
The teachers shall not take responsibility because we are not part of it. Whoever initiated the transfers and destabilization should take responsibility.
Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay, Migori, Nyamira and Kisii counties lead in numbers of unrest. Speaking during a forum for early childhood development education teachers, CS Amina has called on parents and teachers to instill values on children while young so that they can become responsible youth. She also promised to look into payment issues of the teachers to safeguard their welfare.
I have had discussions with the World Bank, requested for resources that would enable me to establish 4 ECD model centers.
Meanwhile, parents of Chalbi Boys High School in Marsabit County have stated that they will frustrate any attempts to arrest students from the school.
Kama ni kushikwa watoto 440 na wazazi wao yote washikwe. Hiyo maneno ya kushika watoto 9, hiyo hakuna.
They also want additional teachers to be deployed to the school. Students of Chalbi Boys attacked 6 non-local teachers who were immediately transferred by the Teachers Service Commission. The government is treating the student rampage as criminal cases, and the affected schools will only reopen once safety resumes. Nonetheless, the national examinations set to start in November will not be disrupted, but will go on as planned. Caroline B., KTN News.
And for the second night running, that is the basis of our big question discussion tonight. We seek to engage you. We are asking you on our big question tonight, should corporal punishment be reintroduced in schools? What do you think? Text us your view, your yes or no opinion, plus a brief explanation to our SMS line 22155. You can also join this conversation online on Twitter at Ben_Kitili, at KTN News, at KTN Kenya. The hashtag is KTN Prime. Away from that, the financial crisis facing the troubled Mumias Sugar Company has deepened, with the taxman now demanding to be paid 1.14 billion Kenya shillings in VAT for fictitious exports of sugar by the company. KRA Commissioner General John Jiraini told the National Assembly's Committee on Implementation that 10,000 metric tons of sugar, which was imported from Sudan by Dante's Peak Limited on behalf of Mumias Sugar Company, never left the country as exports. Jiraini says it was a well-calculated move by Mumias Sugar Company management to avoid paying tax and later dump the sweetener in the local market. Let's get more details from our senior political affairs reporter, Patrick Amimo.
Early this year, the suspended Mumias Sugar Company Managing Director National Seka unveiled a 5-year turnaround strategy to revive the miller at a cost of 4 billion shillings. 1.5 billion shillings was to be plowed into cane development and factory maintenance, and the balance used to bring the company back to optimum operation. Mumias owes creditors 9 billion shillings. But in a strange twist of events, Mumias' debt burden continues to pile. In 2012 and 2013, the management of Mumias Sugar Company reported that production had been greatly affected, leading to a significant deficit in production and revenue. In February 2013, the board mandated the management to import 30,000 metric tons of sugar from Mombasa Market through Dante's Peak Limited as the importer. The National Assembly Committee on Implementation is seized of the suspect deal, which was unmasked in March 2015, when the Committee of Agriculture tabled its report on the crisis facing the sugar industry in Kenya. Members are seeking answers from the taxman.
The initial agreement was between Kenana Sugar Company Limited and Dante's Peak dated December 2012 for supply of the 30,000 metric tons of sugar, and the customs entry number is given as entry number 2013 Mombasa 4050717 of 16th April 2013.
Whose PIN was used to import this sugar? Was it the PIN of Dante's Peak Limited or Mumias Sugar Company Limited?
There was a lot of concern because of that. For example, the company that had sold the sugar was saying, you people now, we can't even get paid. So we finally then said, okay, fine, we have received the totality of evidence that convinces us that this transaction, despite the way it is arranged, is by Mumias.
The report wanted KRA to be held responsible for the loss of value-added tax amounting to 577 million shillings for fictitious exports of sugar by Mumias Sugar Company. According to KRA, the Embassy of Sudan and Kenana Sugar Company Limited confirmed that the sugar was imported by Mumias through Dante Peak Limited. KRA says Mumias should bear responsibility.
We would just collect the tax and levy the penalties. Like in this case, you see, the amount we were asking for at the time has now reached $1 billion. And for us, the situation is fairly, if they don't respond in 30 days, we'll go and take the money from their bank. Hopefully we'll find money in the bank. Or take other action, including auctioning their property.
The report, which was adopted by the last parliament, said top managers at Mumias Sugar Company colluded with the Kenya Revenue Authority officials and made fictitious sugar exports worth 3 billion shillings between 2006 and 2012. Parliament proposed that officers of Mumias Sugar Company and KRA who abused import procedures with regard to import permit requirements in the importation of 10,000 metric tons of sugar in 2012 from Sudan be held to account for their misdeeds. Jeraini told MPs no KRA officer was found to have abused import procedures in regard to the importation of the sugar. Patrick Amimo, KTN News.
Let's stay on that story. And elected leaders from the sugar belt now want the Director of Criminal Investigations and his counterpart in public prosecutions to initiate investigations that will lead to the arrest and prosecution of former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero. The leaders claim that billions of shillings were lost when he was at the helm of Mumias Sugar Company as managing director. According to the leaders, two credible firms have released reports implicating Kidero to the downfall of the company. KTN News senior political affairs reporter Chris Tairo tells us more.
The report by the Capital Markets Authority has now made it clear that Evans, Odhiambo, Kidero, and others mentioned are individually and collectively responsible for the theft and eventual collapse of Mumias Sugar Company. The people and farmers of Mumias Sugar, Kakamega County, and all stakeholders that entirely rely on this company demand that the DPP arrests and prosecutes Evans Kidero and his team of criminals forthwith. That all companies associated with this theft must be named publicly and that the directors be arrested within the next 48 hours.
Most of these industries have a lot of debts, very high debts in them. At the moment as we talk, some of them are under receivership. They are unable to pay farmers, they are unable to pay salaries and so on. So the government must have come out clearly, have these debts written off, or they take over these debts, restructure the industry, introduce private sector within this industry, because the state is not a good manager when it comes to managing companies. We leave it to private sector involvement. We look for strategic partners. And I think this is what will revive that industry. Then we come up with the Sugar Act, proper Sugar Act.
Transport was disrupted along the busy Landis and Haile Selassie roads and the larger parts of Marikiti, Okulima and Mudhuro markets here in Nairobi as police engaged traders in running battles the entire day. Police were forced to use tear gas to disperse the protesting traders who demanded for the release of their 5 colleagues, including their chairman. The 5 were arrested on Wednesday evening. The irate traders lit bonfires and threw stones at police and passers-by, rendering the area impassable. Our Shadrach Miti was there.
Tear gas, bonfires and thick smoke were a permanent feature in parts of Nairobi downtown when on Thursday morning the areas around Wakulima, Marikiti and Muthurwa markets became no-go zones as traders clashed with police. The hawkers were protesting the arrest of their colleagues, among them their chairman Cyrus Kaguta, by Nairobi City County askaris.
Ile matakizo iko ni chairman wetu kushikwa.
From early morning through midday, the area remained tense, covered by smoke emanating from tear gas canisters and bonfires, occasionally interrupting traffic flow. All businesses remained shut, the effect of which was narrated by traders, some who had traveled from as far as Kisii, hoping to buy their business stock and travel back by Thursday morning.
Nikipiga simu, watu wananiambia hakuna biashara inaendelea. So nimekaa Nairobi tangu jana mpaka saa hii, sioni mtu yeyote, sina, yani hata sijui nitafanya nini.
Central Police OCPD Robinson Thuku explained the reason behind the long-running battles between the hawkers and the police.
Some youth broke the roads, protesting the arrest of 5 people who were arrested yesterday, contravening the city by law.
The hawkers pelted police and motorists with stones, and some even dared the police. But when the impact of the tear gas became unbearable, it was all tears for many.
Toka saa hii hawataki tuende, tulikuwa tunataka kuwe na usalama. Tuende huko at least tuungane paturudishie bike. Hey!
The traders also accused county askaris of using excessive force in their operations and cracked down on rate defaulters. Transport on all roads entering and leaving the Kamkunji-Mudhurwa roundabout was interrupted. The roads affected included Enterprise Road, Haile Selassie Avenue, Landis Road, Ring Road, Wakulima Road, Railway Lane, parts of River Road and New Pumwani Road. Normalcy returned by around midday after the 5 individuals who had been in police custody were released on bond by a Nairobi court. Shadrach Miti, KTN News.
So for the second night